it wasn't Andrew, of course, for all of us and the fans. It's like a massive, confusing, surprising letdown. But the whole year, the whole season has been a race, like on the track, off the track. Every, especially this round, every practice day was a lead up to the race run. The battle has been so much bigger and more all encompassing than we could ever actually think. It wasn't really about who. I mean, it was who was going to do better by a couple of positions on the race run, but it's what had to be done to get to that position and what each rider was pushing the other rider to do to get to that position. So, like any kind of performance or crash in a race run, it's almost like it happened anyway, but it just happened like two runs earlier because of the pressure and what you had to do in training to get that race run that was going to win you the series overall. Never mind the race, it was the series overall. Um, yeah, and surprisingly enough, it was Loic that had the upper hand the whole week. He was quicker, well, visibly, without a doubt. But we know Jackson can pull these crazy, these crazy. I don't know what to even call his run. Like these
Rabbit
crazy
out of a hat.
rabbits out of a hat. I was trying to think of that, but I was thinking of something a bit more. Because yeah, rabbit's good for Jackson, isn't it? It'll
Yeah,
hop and
he is
rabbit.
like a rabbit. He is like a rabbit down the course. Yeah.
So I mean,
Did you're almost speechless about like the build up and what went on in the season on all categories, right?
there's so many layers to it. There's and just watching kind of from the sidelines, and then they've gone along with the sort of the rivalry, and they've also promoted it in a healthy, fun way. But it's almost been like a self-fulfilling prophecy, like the rivalry that they've built up, although it's with tons of mutual respect, it was reaching a fucking pinnacle, man. There was little things happening, and I was like, is that just coincidence or is that another little game? So right in the beginning of the week, this is not even a track walk day. They Warner Brothers were doing two or three things. They were filming. They had a press conference on track walk day, but the day before, they wanted to get some like promo shots of each rider with this trophy, right? Like in like green screen and all these cool shots, and they run that. I'm assuming in the pre-show, and they use it a little bit up in the socials, promoting. So you have this black background, and you got Ronan. I mean, Ronan, Jesus, you got Jackson and Loic. And originally, the appointment was, they were going to show up together and get the shots of both of them standing on the, like the boxing show off.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah, totally. Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
UFC.
And we were actually going to do that. Cole and Dorian, like, and myself and Seb, like the photographers and filmers of each team, had agreed to do that, and the riders were keen to do that. And as it got closer, it was like, maybe maybe we don't need to be the ones to elevate the extra attention. But anyway, as the luck would have it, Warner Brothers made that appointment, and then we're going to get a little pre-interview. And this is now already on a full week where they've got to focus on things. They've got this like hour set aside for Warner Brothers, and then the next day there's another hour set aside for press conference, and that's a lot of time on a race week where there's so little time. And you've got massages booked, you're doing track walk, you want to stay in your routine and stuff, and this is breaking their routine, all these extra commitments. So anyway, uh, we get there, and there's no Loic. He's just not there. Or maybe this was after track walk. Yeah, actually, those appointments, sorry, were both on track walk day, and it's like, and then I was kind of near where they were in the rock, and I'm like, aren't you guys meant to be at an appointment? And it's pretty quick because I was racing down to get the behind the scenes shots, and then like they were like, no, we don't know anything about that, and I was like, do you or don't you? Because no, we did the press conference, and I'm like, all right, so I go down there, and Jackson's there already waiting, so that at least they're like, oh well, let's get all our shots and words of Jackson, and then like local shots soon. So like,
He
was
iced him.
that what? Yeah. So and there's like there you are like Jackson, and you're waiting and waiting, and it's like, hang on, is this like a mind game that's already starting? And I'm gonna say, Probably not, maybe because this was a late addition to the calendar, and maybe like the team didn't get notified of this earlier thing, and there were schedule changes because the track walk got moved later, and because the track walk got moved later, Specialized actually decided to have lunch before track walk instead of after track walk. So actually, it could be completely innocent, but I'm going to say
Yeah, but
it's
I
not.
like how you're making all these things up in your head. You're like, oh my goodness, this has to
Oh
be
yeah, so we're there,
intentional. Now
but
he's
but
telling
then
me that they don't know, and you're like, oh,
and then
that's
and then we
great.
all us guys, we just want that shot. We want, we want what we want, and we want what the fans want. And then hats off to Seb Kemp, who was like, he's like the brand and marketing global marketing manager for Santa Cruz, but this year they haven't had an official team manager position, so he's stepped in and sort of guided the team through this process. He just like Paul Jackson's like, we're not waiting, we've done our bit, and that's your time we gave you, and then off they went. And then literally, it had to have been 15 seconds. We're like, surely they passed in the passageway. Then Loic arrived, and then we were like calling, saying, hey, come back, stay here. And they're like, we're done, we're out, which is good on them. Um, and then, oh,
That's
fuck,
great.
are we gonna start
For
this with
you,
the,
that must have been like the conspiracy theories just straight off the bat. That's great.
no, no, it gets worse. Listen to this. So actually, in the end,
It
we
gets
shot
worse.
Jackson separately. Well, yeah, we shot Jackson separately, and we shot Loic separately, and we like can Photoshop the images together of them like next to the trophy, which we still haven't got to because we ran out of time. But I think I saw Warner Brothers did do that. So now get this. So on there's certain events around the world and certain sports around the world, and there's also like it also depends on the individual if you play into that superstition. But like, say for instance, one of the biggest, longest running, most respected surf contest is the Bells in Torquay, out in near Melbourne in Australia. So it's been running forever, and their trophy is a massive bell, right? Um, and it's all these winners, but you'd never touch the
Oh, you
trophy.
never touch
And
a trophy before it's yours, do
okay,
you?
so you know about that? Is that the
Oh,
same
but
with
I mean,
golf and stuff?
I'm just more superstitious than some. Some races aren't, but I had a few quirky things. So I understand. I just knew where you were going with that. Like for sure, you don't
Mm.
touch a trophy before it's yours, unless you're the reigning champ, right? So who touched the
Actually,
trophy?
good. Okay, so Jackson the whole time he didn't look nervous, but
You
he just
didn't
looked
want
at
to
the
touch it.
he looked at the trophy and he's looking around and he looking around, but he fucking never laid a finger on the trophy. And I'm just quietly, and I'm not going to prompt him and say, hey, like hold the trophy, lick kiss the trophy.
No,
You know,
hell no, you don't do
no,
that before.
this is their moment. I'm not like I will direct a lot of my photo shoots, but this is me being fly on the wall and not saying a word. Okay. I think I got him to throw a shaka. That's it. Um, Loic walks in. He hadn't been in the room for like a second, and he was fucking double hands on the trophy. And but then he just said like he won World Cup overall last year, right? Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's
and it's look,
four of the last six, to be fair,
jeez,
something
yeah.
like
So
that.
actually, you know what? In like you said, but still, he might
Unless
be
I got
reigning
that
champion.
stat wrong. I've been writing down a lot of stats, and I must
Okay,
give
so
Chris
that's
Murray credit for a lot of the stats we will quote because I was doing a lot of work, and then I saw
mm,
it came online. I was like, well, now it's fair game, so that's
mm.
cool.
But so maybe it is Loic's currently. It still is his trophy. So then that's his exception. But like it's kind of like anyway. So that was interesting to see the difference in like confidence. Like Loic owned it. He had it. He was like I wouldn't say he had the upper hand, but like kind of made Jackson wait and grab the trophy and stuff. And then this went on and into training, just like winning like one of like I think second fastest time training, maybe, and then quali fastest, and it was like by a lot. He didn't need to. There's no point in quali. There's no need for him to have gone that fast in quali, other than to put pressure on Jackson, and force an error. And and then Jackson like kept being staying there, and after qualifying, like people had to change lines, and the pressure, a first run race morning crash, and is that it's a simple error. Yeah, it is a simple error. A racing accident, practice accident could have happened anywhere, but it is that level that they had to ride every single run on the track, which added to that. Going into this race, I was like, oh, it's Mont-Sainte-Anne fans. Jackson's won here twice before. It won't be. This is the perfect. Jackson's lucky. He did just enough in Lake Placid. He only has to beat Loic by a certain thing. I came in thinking Jackson had the upper hand. After training and after quali, I was like, oh boy, I was like, Loic has the upper hand, like for sure. And
He
but
definitely switched the script.
Jackson,
He definitely switched the
yes,
script, and I heard like word on the street is it looked like a world champs week. His preparation, his
yeah, it was
speed,
flawless. It was
really,
flawless.
yeah.
It
And
was
and you
flawless.
would say like he didn't have to do that, but that's the strategy he employed. Is like, okay, well, I'm going to show you that I'm faster. Jackson's going to have to take note. No points, as you said, but then this thing that happened with him crashing first run, like you said, it's an absolute racing incident. But then if you put all the coincidences of everyone's riding faster than usual, race pace on race day is always quicker than the previous day's quali. There's just like that energy to it, right?
Yeah.
And he afforded him that opportunity in hindsight to see what Jackson was able to do. If he qualifies too close to Jackson, or he has to go down first, what does he do with that injury on the bike? Like if Jackson was behind him, he has to try drop, has to try salvage a run with this injury, and then no one knows what Jackson can do. But he played his cards absolutely perfectly until the crash. Like he did really flip the
Mm.
script and put the pressure back on Jackson. And I couldn't believe the level that Jackson rode at in terms of he said he made some mistakes, the speed he rode to the rock garden. Like he almost crashed visibly, it looked like 5 times. He could have gone flying off the bike. Like I know he's
Well,
in control and it's Jackson, but like there were moments there where I was
he
like,
wasn't. He
whoa,
wasn't
it
actually
seems like
in.
he could have crashed. And yeah, he said like he was just, and then the speed he carried in the bottom split after the rocks, like that's flat. So you got to just not break and be hungry for it. So credit to Jackson, like to come down, to take the hot seat. He did everything he could for that
Yeah.
story to unfold. Like he didn't get handed the title. He went and won the race.
I mean,
And if Loic had had
yeah.
a fair go at it, it would have been an unbelievable race. It wasn't like Jackson. Imagine Jackson got 8th. Then he could be like, oh, I didn't want to win this title like that. Like, dude, he went out and earned every bit.